Introduction into floating passing, and we're going to let me preface this with saying that this is probably one of the more athletic things I'm going to ask you to do. It's not to say that anybody can't do it; everybody can do it, but you're understanding the principles of it. Okay, is very important. Now, in purposes of passing guard, when we're passing open guard, it's far easier to try to launch your passing sequences from half guard than it is when you're dealing with one leg generally than it is when you're dealing with two. That's basically the whole premise behind this floating aspect, okay? We're trying to penetrate far enough into the guard that we can at least get to some sort of a half guard situation, okay? So you hear me yell kill, kill, kill with all these kids, all right? Killing the legs, killing the legs, killing the legs, okay? If you hear me yelling that, this is exactly what I mean is when you're cutting down the guard here, we want to fight for inside position. That's really the rule. So if you'll just remember that, the whole floating aspect becomes a whole lot easier for you, okay? So we're fighting for inside position here. When you hear me say kill, what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to pin one of his legs. I'm wanting to pinch one of his legs and isolate that one. So I want to take an inside position. Right now he has the inside position. So now I need to get to that inside position. The easiest way I do it is with my neutral grips. You'll hear me talk a lot about neutral grips. I do not like this inside pan grip, okay? Just doesn't afford you the same opportunities that it does here. We are a knee fold academy. We pass folding the knees, okay? So having this outside grip for not only this, but leg drags and all these different things is far more beneficial than being inside of here. So when you hear me say kill, killing the legs is very important. And we have a whole series built around this where we started showing a lot of these people, these kids, how we want to kill the legs. First thing that I want to do is I can't let my knees buckle outboard. Hyper important. Killing the leg, cutting his guard in half, all starts with where my knee positioning is. And you'll see a lot of passers, they play really loose knee like this, and their guy is letting them lock their knees out, letting them disrupt their base, okay? So for me, the first thing I want to do is I want to knock my knees. So I get my neutral grip, all right? My knees are going to knock in, okay? Once my knees go inboard, I isolate and kill the leverage that he has in his hooks, being his elevators. His feet are his hooks. So I kill all that leverage that he has there and I isolate everything, okay? Whereas if my legs are like this and I squat down, he's able to completely leverage me up and lift me up over his head, and now I'm in trouble, okay? So rule number one, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna explain this, we're gonna look at it, we're gonna play with it. You're gonna come in here, your partner's gonna go double hooks. Once you go neutral grips, I want them to lift you, okay? They can grab collar grips, and then just want them to elevate you so you feel this, and then you have to enter your float right here, okay? So you go here, knees are wide, they collar grip or sleeve grip, elevate, enter your float, okay? There's several methods for entering the float, but we're going over the head right now. Here, drop your butt down. If he wants to grab the sleeves, fine. Enter your float, heels curl. Okay, got it? So here, legs are outboard. I want you to feel what it's like to get elevated. Catch yourself. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. Second aspect of this, you're gonna always see me, it's kind of weird, people ask about it when they see my passing sequences, they're always wondering why I'm standing like this, like all the time. Very rarely do you ever catch me standing like this, or with my feet over shoulder width apart. Very rarely, okay? The vast majority of the time, so I'll have somebody stretch their legs out, sitting straight on their butt, just go ahead and stretch your legs straight out. And I learn my range, just an average of range. Where I'm in danger. You can kind of tell if somebody's super tall, might need to be a little bit further back. The second they start to penetrate into that range, the first thing that starts to happen is my knees start to drop down. My knees start to come in and go tight, okay? So I'm lowering my base here and I'm looking for those neutral grips. That's the first thing that happens. So we're talking about floating. We're going back to here. He's gotten his hooks inside. We're working backwards a bit. Ideally, we want to prevent. If I was to be here and he's laying back and playing this gentleman's jiu-jitsu, how many of you guys remember that term, gentleman's jiu-jitsu? AKA the wrong style. They lay back, completely go past their sitting guard, and they're laid back. I'm out here, ideally prevention is the key. The second that I step in, I want to start trying to catch my neutral grip. I don't care really what he does here. And then I want to start caving my legs down, and I'm either going to start twisting to a side to isolate the center where he can't win that center battle, okay? But assuming that I've gotten in here and he's gotten deep, now I have to start working backwards. I'm too deep over his guard, too close to his knee line. The threat of going over his head is very real. Being elevated, very real. That's where the float comes in. So from here, Neutral grip. I'm gonna start yelling kill, kill to all of you guys, meaning I want you to get right here. This is where I want you to get ultimately. But we're stuck, okay? So we got heels, I'm here. First thing you're gonna see me do is I'm gonna take a shallow step back. Shallow step back, shallow step back. And what's important to notice about what changed with my stance. Now I'm up on the balls of my feet. No longer standing flat foot, no longer deep over his guard, threatened by the knee line or the elevator. I'm here. Shallow step, shallow step. Now the knees are gonna start to pinch in tight. And I'm gonna pull the knees up. So I'm going kind of shin to shin, all right? What that does is that drives his hooks flat down to the mat. So if he's here, now I need to get the flat part of the foot interfacing with the ground, need it parallel. Boom. Pinching my knees in, seal off that middle area and put him in a supine butterfly, a real butterfly, okay? Now my partner's gonna grab my collars and start trying to elevate. Completely different scenario, okay? Knees are tight, I'm balled up. Much different scenario, he does not have the ability to elevate, and I can start to use this knee line as an interface. Steer him, okay? Turn it, push. So we're gonna start over, here. Deep over the guard in a threatening position. Got my neutral grips. Shallow step, on the toes, bang. Knees come in, rocking the knees forward. Whoosh. He grabs, tries to elevate. My butt goes down. Got it? Here we go. 1, 2, 3.